Hello everyone and welcome to Eyes to See. My name is Chris. I will be your host today and guide you through this decode. Today we are decoding You Are a Star. So let me break down my methods of decoding. My methods of decoding are going to be the Chaldean Gematria cipher that uses the rules of phonetics and sounds in order to break down the numbers to the letters. It goes from the numbers 1 to 8, and it acts like the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, moving on to the next octave. It pairs exceedingly well with the English ordinal cipher. That is a basic numerology cipher where we assign the numbers 1 to the letter A all the way up to the letter 26 for the letter Z. This English ordinal cipher is great because it pairs very well with the Bible and Strong's Concordance. Strong's Concordance is the index of every word in the Bible in the Old Testament Hebrew and the New Testament Greek. Interestingly, I find the Chaldean cipher also pairs well with the periodic table of elements, where we also find meanings to the numbers as well, using the Royal Society of Chemistry. Their website, the royalsocietyofchemistry.org, is the one I use, and there's artwork for each and every element that we can use to break down and gain insight from. In order to understand and break down dates, I use the Cards of Destiny system, which is the regular poker deck, the 52 cards. Those cards translate into the tarot deck, where we also can see pictures to those cards and get additional insights. Always following the rules of numerology. Sometimes in different decodes I will use the infinite string of pi, and the infinite string of phi, the golden ratio, as well as depending on the decode as well. I might get into some astrology, but it's not one that I use very often. All right, so let's begin here. We're going to begin with just some basic understanding. I've gone through this breakdown before in my Groundhog Day decode. It's critical as we move forward to understand the foundation of what we're going to be looking at. And we get that foundation using eSword, which is a free program. I'll try and provide a link in my description of the video below if there's anybody that wants it. It's a free program that merges the Strong's Concordance, which was developed in the 1800s, which indexed every word in the Hebrew and every word in the Greek, and allows us to see what word was translated into English, so we can go to the original language and get the original meaning of those words. And the definitions are key into understanding and breaking down these verses to understanding the world that we live in. So Genesis 1, every time the word God is used in Genesis 1, it's a reference to the Hebrew word, or it's been translated from the Hebrew word 430. And that 430th word is Elohim. So this word is actually the word Elohim, and that means angels, God. It's the plural of gods. The him in Hebrew, or the im in Hebrew, from what I understand, implies the plurality of it. So plural gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used of the supreme God. So we're not talking about the supreme God, we're talking about gods of the supreme God. So the angels. And the angels, the gods, said, let us, so there's the plural in English referencing the gods, let us make man, and that's Hebrew word 120 that it was translated from. Hebrew word 120 is Adam, but it's lowercase Adam. It's not the proper name Adam from Adam and Eve. It's a different entity. And this entity is Adam, is how it's phonetically sounded, and that means man and mankind. So it says, and Elohim, the angels, said, let us make mankind, man, in our image. An image comes from the Hebrew word 6754, which is the Hebrew word salem. And that means image, vein show. It means to shade. And here we see what's it shading. It's shading our light. We are light beings trapped in flesh, and we're shaded by our flesh. We see that there. So from an unused root meaning to shade, a phantom, figuratively an illusion, resemblance, hence a representative figure, especially an idol. And what are we not supposed to worship but idols? Because our body that shades our light is the idol. It's a vanity show. Okay. So in the next slide, we're going to break down the meaning of Elohim through the Gematria. So let's take a look at that. So here we see the word Elohim in the English ordinal, and that word sums in English to the number 62. The number 62 is tied to the element samarium in the periodic table of elements. It's the 62nd element on the periodic table with an average atomic weight of 150.36. And we can see here the artwork that's provided by the Royal Society of Chemistry is a hammer and sickle and the 5-pointed star with some lasers coming from behind it. To get some further understanding of the number 62, I always go to the purest cipher, the Chaldean, and this is the cipher that is the oldest in human history. It has that antiquity, and again, like I said, it pairs very well with the periodic table of elements and its artwork. And we can go to the database of all the words that sum to the number 62 that we've found and group together. So these are numerical synonyms in essence. And we see the Scarlet Woman sums to 62, Lilith the Deceiver, Parthenogenesis. So Lilith is in Hebrew mythology is supposed to be the first wife of Adam. And in my opinion, I believe that what's being spoken of there is not Adam and Eve, but the Adam we just saw as the Hebrew word 120, the first wife of mankind. Parthenogenesis, which is a virgin birth through reptiles, two females can have a virgin birth. The Orion group, for fans of the Law of One. Deal with the devil is 62. Blood offering, trapped in flesh. Our light is trapped in flesh. On the inverted cross, we're all born onto St. Peter's cross, upside down. We're literally born upside down. The tree of life, we are all the tree of life. Till death do us part. Castor and Pollux, which is the twins from Gemini. A beautiful stranger, which is a song Madonna sings. A man without a heart. The hammer and sickle, matching the artwork we see for the 62nd element. Good, evil, neutral. Harvest of slaves, service to others, and a harvest of angels. We can see the sickle there for the harvest. Another word that sums to 62 is Queen of Swords, matching the tarot deck here. We see the tarot deck for the Queen of Swords, and that just happens to be the 62nd card of the tarot deck. And the Queen of Swords is associated with the following words: a mature, perceptive woman, independent, loss, pain, and separation are all words that are associated with this card as this archetype, this idea. And then 62, we see that it matches in Chaldean. It also matches a Queen of Spades. So this Queen of Swords translates, it's the same card as the Queen of Spades. Swords become spades, clubs become wands, hearts become cups, and diamonds become pentacles. And we see here a Queen of Spades is also 62, matching this card. The word queen is 62 in English. The word Madonna is also 62 in English. And then interestingly, Queen Elizabeth in her lifetime often used the number 62 in her dates. And there's a couple examples, and there's many more. But if you could just go to Wikipedia, you'll see her first date of reign was on February 6, 1952, February being the second month of the year, and the sixth day, that can be interpreted as a 62. Her coronation was on June the 2nd, the sixth month, the second day, for another 62. And her Platinum Jubilee, I believe, was on both these days, February 6th and June the 2nd. And interesting, I think Platinum Jubilee sums to 62 in English, if I remember correctly. And she was buried on the 262nd day of the year. For that. And then, so the words Queen Elizabeth give us a score in English of 150, which matches the average atomic weight of samarium. And then we're going to be breaking down this video here. It's called Jimmy Choo CR18. It's a commercial for shoes, for Jimmy Choo shoes. And again, that matches what we're going to be talking about today. So the next slide, we're going to be looking at the breakdown of Isaiah 14, just to lay some fundamental groundwork before we break down the commercial. So here we have Isaiah 14 and Isaiah 14 verse 12 and Isaiah 14 verse 13. And interestingly, 3141 in reverse here is pi. And this is the Old Testament. And these two verses are pretty critical in understanding the world that we live in. And Isaiah 14:12, it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" And this is one of the only, I believe this is the only mention of the word Lucifer in the Bible, in this verse. So, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" And the word Lucifer, using the Strong's Concordance or eSword, we see that word Lucifer is the Hebrew word 1966, and that word is Halel. Interestingly, 1966 is the founding date for the Church of Satan by Anton LaVey in San Francisco, and Halel means a shining one. It's an epithet of the king of Babylon, so it's a symbol of the king of Babylon. And how art thou fallen, shining one, son of dawn, star of the morning, and it's an epithet for a symbol of Venus. And we can see here, this here is the, sorry, let me reverse that. This here is the Hebrew spelling of the word Halel. And we see here, we can go to the Hebrew calculator, and it spells in Hebrew gematria. We get the number 39 from this Hebrew spelling. And that's where we understand the number 39 being associated with Lucifer. So, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? The word nations is the word goy in Hebrew, which means Gentile, which means unbelievers, heathen, nation, or people. And it's in the sense of massing, like the masses of people, the greater population. A foreign nation, hence a Gentile, also figuratively a troop of animals, or a flight of locusts, as us angels here on earth are being transmuted into worm food, into locusts. And Isaiah 14:13 here says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God." And when we read the Old Testament, it's important that we understand which definition of God is being spoken here. There's been, I believe, even in Ezekiel, there's a great passage or verse that the word God has three different definitions within the same verse. So the word God here in Isaiah is a reference to the Hebrew word 410, and that means El, and that is El, the Almighty God, the Most High, right there. Especially the Almighty God. Okay? So, and the stars of El, and the word stars is the word kokab in Hebrew. That's 3556, which means star or stargazer. It's in the sense of rolling, like a flickering rolling star, and we'll see a reference to the Rolling Stones later. And it means also in the sense of blazing, a star, as round or as shining, like the movie The Shining. Figuratively, a prince. And I remember the Little Prince stories when I was a kid, and I believe that's what it's talking about. It's talking about us. We are the stars, and the stars of El, the Almighty. And the throne above the stars of El, if you think about it, the very center of the stars is the North Star, and that North Star is the throne of El, and Lucifer wants to rise above that throne, above all the stars, because we are the stars, and rule over us. And it says, I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And we'll hear the word north breaks down into Saphon, which means northern side, dark and gloomy, which means properly hidden, because Lucifer is hidden from us. Dark, used only of the north as a quarter. Looking at north, south, east, west, north is a quarter of our four corners here. It means gloomy and unknown. And here we can see the satanic reference here in the clothing line for the north face. It's the north face of a mountain that's properly hidden, that gets no sun, no love. Next slide, we're going to be looking at 2 Timothy 3, and it's the New Testament's version of the stars. So here we've looked at the Old Testament, where we see how the stars are used, and we'll look at the New Testament here in 2 Timothy 2:3. And in 2 Timothy 2:3, we see it says, "Thou therefore endure hardness." Life is hard, but as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. Okay, and the word soldier here is the Greek word. We're now in the New Testament, so these are now the Greek words. 4757, which means stratiotes, which means a soldier, but it's from the root. It's from a presumed derivative of the same as stratia. So we can see stratiotes. It comes from the word stratia, and the word stratia means an army or a host, because we're the good soldiers, but it really means figuratively the angels, the celestial luminaries, literally the stars. So as a good soldier of Christ, as a good angel, as a good star, that's what it's talking about here. And you can see here the star reference. It's well used and well known by the powers that want to ruin us here. And you can see the how the human body forms the 5-pointed star symbol when we have our arms outstretched and our legs open. And then we can see the mockery of it here, or the inverse of it, hidden in front of us. And we can see the 5-pointed star upside down here, and that's a reference to our head down, the direction down to hell. And the Hebrew letters surrounding this sigil of Baphomet here spells the word Leviathan in Hebrew. And we can see the goat face, because the goat face is the reference to us, the sheep, Christ's sheep, being turned into goats. So the word angel gives us a score of 17 in Chaldean, and the 17th card in the tarot deck is the star card. We can see the 8-pointed star here, which is the reference to, it's known as the Star of Isis, but in Satanism always takes the sacred and takes it for itself and pretends that it owns it. But what it's really, the North Star is a reference to the center of our creation, right? The center of all, and that's the North Star, the 8-pointed star. And that's the center, and we can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the reference to the 7 lights, our 7 chakra system, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, and there's the star card, give us the picture form. And the word celestial luminaries in Chaldean gives us a sum score of 59, and 59 just happens to be the 17th prime number. Prime numbers are numbers that can only be divided by themselves, or the number 1, and this in sequence will be the 17th prime number matching angel, 17. So next slide, we're going to look at the Lady in Red and the breakdown of Lilith. So the breakdown of Lilith, basically, if we look at the sigil of Baphomet, we see that it's an androgynous figure. It represents both male and female. And when we examine the concept of the devil, or the archetype of the devil, it has a feminine and a masculine quality. The devil we see quite often as the entity in red with the pitchfork and the horns. But we don't consider the female entity of the devil as well. And that female entity is represented by Lilith. And we can see here that Lilith and the lady in the red dress, which we see quite often. One great example is from the movie The Matrix, where we see the lady in the red dress. So Lilith and the lady in the red dress can be interpreted as variations of the same symbol. So we can equate those two. It's representing the embodiment of female independence, sexuality, and the subversion of traditional roles. Both figures are characterized by their seductive power and defiance against patriarchal structures. The father. Their shared symbolism lies in their use of allure as a form of empowerment, and the male-centric perception of female sexuality as both fascinating and threatening. And I just grabbed a few pictures off the internet of Lilith here, and we can see that she's often represented by the red hair. In fact, this painting here, Lady Lilith, is a famous painting, and you can see the red hair here. We can see the two pillars in the background over the green, and the green is a representation of Earth or the Matrix. Lilith's seduction, we can see here she's wearing the red dress, and she also has sort of some reddish hair here as well. And here's another fictional interpretation where she's more in a devilish form. Here we can see her sort of devil wings and horns. So Lilith and the lady in the red dress are one and the same symbolically, and we can interpret it that way. And I wanted to lay this groundwork as we move on. We're gonna see this commercial, and the commercial features the lady in the red dress. This is a Jimmy Choo commercial for their shoes, the CR18, and it's the main female in the commercial is an actress by the name of Cara Delevingne, who I'm not familiar with. I had to do a bit of research on, but we'll see that here. So I'm going to show this video here. This is from YouTube. This is a Jimmy Choo commercial called Shimmer in the Dark. It's for their shoes CR18. It's featuring the actress Cara Delevingne. So let's see if this works.
Nice shoes, lady. Now I can tell ya, girl, you turn me on. I get lifted up high. I get lifted.
Hey, Sal.
Hey, there she is.
I am starving. Can I have my usual, please?
I got you. Absolutely. Here you go.
You're a beautiful man. Have a good night, Sal.
Take care. Have a good night. Hey, great shoes.
So let's break down what we just saw here. We can see that the intro scene for the commercial shows us Jimmy Choo, highlighted here in pink, and Jimmy Choo Presents. And let's take our Jimmy Choo, put it in the Chaldean cipher, and see what comes out, and we get the number 33 for Jimmy Choo. 33 is a big number in numerology. It's considered a master number, one of three. 11, 22, and 33 are considered the master numbers that cannot be reduced. And 33 is heavily tied to Jesus Christ. We see here that Jesus was crucified on a cross at 33 years old, and in the year 33. 33 is also tied to Freemasonry. We see the 33 steps or levels within Freemasonry. And 33 is also tied to our spinal column. Most of us have 33 bones in our spinal column, considered the Jacob's ladder to ascend up the spinal column into the pineal gland. We see that 2 Timothy 2:3, and we put that in the Chaldean cipher, gives us the number 33 as well. That was the verse we just looked at about the soldiers of Christ. You are a star, sums to 33. And within the database itself, we see a bunch of words here that I pulled out that are related to the number 33. Shining star, a new light, illuminate, sunshine, light bearer, the devil, the twins, predator, deceived, abduction, consume, destroyer, hot dogs, which we see Our Lady in the Red Dress kiss the hot dogs, game over, crucified, ascension, Jesus is king, and Christ is king. So we see the number 33 is heavily tied to the archetype of ascension here. And when we put Jimmy Choo Presents into our cipher, I noticed in the English cipher, Jimmy Choo Presents gives us a sum total of 227. 227 is a well-known symbolic representation of pi, as 22 divided by 7 gives us a very close approximation of pi, 3.142. So we see here that this gives us pi as a number that represents, in numerical rituals, it represents the creation or the seed, the masculine, the divine masculine principle. We're going to have a look at the next slide, and the next slide is going to look at, as right after the Jimmy Choo Presents, it loads the next title, which will be Shimmer in the Dark. But I caught here that before Shimmer in the Dark appears, these 4 letters appear, and then the rest of the letters kind of fill in the gaps. And the letters H, E, H, K are seen here, if we slow it down. And H, E, H, K in the Chaldean cipher sums to 17. 17 is, we know that number to be the number that represents the word angel. And we see here that H is 5, E is 5, H is 5 again, and K is 2 in the Chaldean cipher, giving us the number 5552. 5552 in the Bible means golden or made of gold. And then we go to the Chaldean cipher into the database to get further analysis, and we see that the number 17 is tied to gods, plural, which is Elohim, the gods, the angels, Lilith, the Big Bang, circle, matrix, digital reality, Neo, actor, acting, YHWH, known as Yahweh or Jehovah. Jehovah formed Adam from the dust, from the earth, from the ashes, gave him life, put a living soul in his heart, and he was naked in the Garden of Eden. 17 is also chakras, our light body, crystal, rocks, we are the rocks, the living stones of Christ, gold, what we want to turn our lead into gold in order, the philosopher's stone idea, and Jesus was a fisher of men. We are the fish that he's fishing, and that is also 17. And in doing this slide here, I was inspired. I remembered the lyric from Pink Floyd, we are just 2 lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? And I asked ChatGPT here to draw me some art in relation to that lyric, and this is what it came up with. And we can see the two goldfish, and they're facing opposite directions, like twins facing opposite directions. We're going to see that that symbol come up later in this decode. Looking at after the H-E-H-K, and then the rest of the letters fill in the gaps to give us this title, Shimmer in the Dark. And we know they're talking about stars here, and the shoes represent the stars. They're the shimmering stars that the lady in red is wearing on her feet and trampling on. So Shimmer in the Dark in the English ordinal cipher gives us a sum total of 175. And the 175, we can look to the periodic table of elements to get some additional meaning. And one of the atomic weights of the 71st element, called lutetium, is 175.943. And this is the Lu element, the Lucifer element, and the average weight is 174. 7, 4, and 1 we know through Manly P. Hall as to be Lucifer's number, so this element literally carries Lucifer's number. It's named after Lucifer, Lu, and it's the 71st element. And 71 matches Son of the Morning in Chaldean, which is one of the names for Lucifer. It also matches Woman in the Red Dress, which we see in the video. And the number 175 for Shimmer in the Dark matches God of this world, which is Lucifer. In God We Trust, which is what we see on the back of the dollar bill, the God of money. The Great Deception, Lucifer deceived the entire world to create a new world order through fornication and sex as the bait in the trap, giving us fear, rage, desire, and love. Holding it over the rainbow, we are the rainbow. Rainbow is a symbol for our light bodies, our 7 colors, or 7 chakras. And Holy Trinity is also 75. And we see the rainbow symbolism within the periodic table of elements here at the Royal Society of Chemists. You see the upside down rainbow, because we are the upside down rainbow. We are the part of the rainbow that gets absorbed. We absorb light. The upright part of the rainbow is the one we see in the sky. And at the horizon, the under part of the rainbow, because it makes a complete circle, the under part of the rainbow is us. We are the under part of the rainbow. And you can see the Holy Trinity representation within the fleur-de-lis symbolism up here over the sea of red, the blood. And 175 in the Bible. We can use the English ordinal to go to the Strongs. They correlate quite well. And 175 in the Bible is the word akarpos, the Greek word akarpos, which means unfruitful, barren, or profitless, and it refers to any thought or action not originated and empowered by the Lord, not born of faith, birthed and empowered by God. By definition, all decisions that are not born of faith are sin, and the decision to create that Elohim used to create in Genesis 1, the man in their image, would be not born of all the decisions of God and are therefore sin. That's our original sin, which automatically renders them eternally fruitless, a waste. This is the case regardless of how impressive or acceptable they are in the eyes of the world. So just because it's popular doesn't mean it's correct. So we'll have a look at the next slide. We're going to look as Kara walks in front of the yellow cab here. So here's our lady in red. She just walked by the gentleman a couple seconds before who said, "Nice shoes, lady." And she's walking in front of this yellow cab. And cars can often be interpreted as a symbol of karma. And the yellow is a representation of our yellow chakra here. Where we hold our guilt. So it happened to be, she walks by the cab, it's at 46 seconds into the commercial here. 46 is a direct reference to our DNA, as humans typically have 46 chromosomes in their DNA, which contain the genetic information for individual development and function. And the number 46 is you are the star, a shooting star, is a 46. Nice Shoes Lady, which was said to her just before the scene. Satan in disguise. Satan fell down to earth on a lightning bolt. 71, like the element 71 lutetium. Demonology. The serpent. Double helix, which is our DNA here, the double helix DNA. Triple crown, which is we see on the periodic table under the element carbon, which represents the 666. The natural man, which is our flesh body, our man made through germination. A superhuman, which is our angel demon spirit form. Alive and free, life and death, death penalty, black and yellow, like the cab we see over here, good and evil, up and down, the keystone, which is we saw that in the Groundhog Day Decode, where we have to turn from down to up in our salvation. Repent my sins. You are special. You are an angel of God. The license plate here is the letters and numbers T99325C. And that license plate sums to 51 in the English ordinal cipher, and we go to the Chaldean to get some understanding of the number 51. 51 on the periodic table of elements is antimony, meaning not alone, and the artwork features the Eye of Horus, the all-seeing eye. And here we see 51, the morning star, a name for Lucifer. Planet Venus, we saw that as an epithet for Lucifer as well. Constellation, stars. Opposition, Lucifer is the opposition, the adversary. Rolling stones, because they like to take the living stones of Christ and roll them from up to down. Sex trafficking, the fornications, the bait and the trap. And we see here this image almost reminds me of a sex trafficker. Angel of death and Blessed Virgin Mary are all 51 in the Chaldean cipher. And we're going to look at the twin X symbolism that was hidden in this little commercial here. So as she's walking down the street, she passes by another lady wearing a set of shoes. And on that set of shoes, we see the twin X symbolism encoded on the shoes here. And it's at 101 or 1 minute and 1 seconds, which is a 101. And we know the 101 again from the Groundhog Day Decode as the twin X life force harvester, and the double X represents the female, the double X chromosomes. And 101 is also fornication, the bait and the trap. So here we, you can see that again here. Moving on, we're going to look at the hot dog that she was eating from her vendor Sal. So the next scene we're going to look at is at 1 minute and 19 seconds. We see the lady in the red dress, Cara Delevingne. She approaches her favorite hot dog vendor, and his name is Sal. And we see here that Sal, according to ChatGPT, the name Sal is a nickname or short nickname for Salvatore in Italian. Salvatore in Italian originates from the Latin word Salvatore, which means savior or rescuer. This name has a strong Christian connotations as it is directly associated with Jesus Christ. So we're seeing this reference to Jesus here as Sal, and she walks up to him and says, "Can I have my usual?" And he hands her a hot dog. And she kisses the hot dog as she says, "You're a beautiful man." And the hot dog represents it's a sexual symbol because it represents the penis and the vagina, the penis and the buns. And we see here that it's at 1 minute and 19 seconds, the 9/11 or the 11/9, and it's the belief that Jesus' birthday might be on September 11th. This is based on various astronomical and historical conjectures, including alignments of celestial bodies and interpretations of biblical scripture, rather than the definitive historical evidence, which is merely opinion. So we see here 119 matches falling star in English and also matches all-seeing eye. And then "you're a beautiful man" in Chaldean sums to 69. And I thought it was interesting here. We see in Mark 15:33 that Jesus was crucified between 6 and 9, the 3-hour window, 3, 6, and 9. And when the 6th hour was come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. The 6 and the 9 turning from down to up. So next we're going to be looking at the final scene of the video. And this is the final scene where we see Cara Delevingne. She's walking along a alleyway, going into almost like an alleyway or a corridor, and everyone's lined up to get into the party. And on top of the sign on top of the doorway into the party says, "I want Choo." And we see here that as the scene progresses, we see the mirroring behind the letters, the twinning of the "I want Choo." So this scene is at 1 minute and 37 seconds in. 137 is known as the 33rd prime number, and we saw the number 33. Jimmy Choo summed to 33. At the beginning of this, and "I want you" is a reference. I want you for the U.S. Army, Uncle Sam here. So let's have a look here. "I want Choo" in Chaldean sums to 39, same as the name of the shoes. CR18 sums to 39, and the word "angel" in English also sums to 39. And we also know earlier we saw the definition of Lucifer in Hebrew, and that also summed to 39, matching the 39th element on the periodic table, which is yttrium. And we see either the Y here can be interpreted as the snake's tongue. It can also be interpreted as Christ on the cross. And we see that the average atomic weight is 88.906, and we see the 6 and 9 reference again there within the atomic weight, and 88 is known as the time travel number. We saw that in Back to the Future. And the artwork provided by the Royal Society of Chemistry is the Looney Tunes orange concentric circles with the satellite here, and it's the circle and the square. And then we look to the Chaldean, we see some further understanding of the number 39, and we see who is Yod-He Vod-He, YHWH is 39. God's voice, inception, wormhole, computer, artificial mind, chess player, projector, the airwaves, the sound, the parasite, mind parasite, the black sun, Saturn's cycle, father time known as Saturn or Satan, the trident, the devil's pitchfork, time loop, the 88 miles per hour, we are in Oz, and stuck in a box, the black cube of Saturn. And here's some AI art I made of an angel and the demon looking at her reflection in the mirror as our superhuman angel-demon paradigm is represented here in this artwork. And so we'll move on. One more Bible verse to look at here before we finish up. We're gonna break down Cara Delevingne a little bit, and I looked at her tattoos. I thought were really interesting. But before I show you the tattoos, I wanted to make sure we understand this Bible verse here. This is Jude 1:6. Jude is the last book before the book of Revelations, and this passage, this verse here, really outlines a lot of truth. And we see here, and the angels. And now that we understand the angels are the celestial luminaries, the stars. The shoes that she's trampling on, the angels, which are you and me, which kept not their first estate. So we came from heaven to earth. We were the fallen angels, but left their own habitation. He hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. And the word everlasting is the Greek word eidios, and that means eternal, everlasting, ever-during, forward and backward. And this is Marina Abramovich. This is one of her art pieces, which she did with Jay-Z, and they tied their hair together to give us that forward and backward representation of this Bible meaning. And we saw that with the goldfish from the AI art earlier about the Pink Floyd song. And the word chains is the Greek word 1199, meaning desmos. It's the Greek word desmos, which means ligament, chain, or string. And it literally means a ligament of the body or shackle. So the angels that kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in forward and backward ligaments of the body, shackles, under darkness, because the light is trapped in flesh and darkness unto the judgment of the great day. And here we can see the rolling stone mocking tongue. Sticking your tongue out is a disrespect of the Lord. And we see that outlined in Isaiah 57:4, where it says, against whom do you sport yourselves? Who do you make fun of? Against whom make you a wide mouth and draw out the tongue? Are you not children of transgression, a seed of falsehood? And let's have a look at Kara's tattoos here, and we'll see the representation of the spirit that runs her. And we can see here that Kara, this is Cara Delevingne off of Wikipedia. She was born on August the 12th, and her full name is Cara Jocelyn Delevingne. Cara Jocelyn Delevingne in Chaldean sums to 74. 74 is a very important number. It's the mirror image of 47, which is the we see on the Freemasonic compass, which draws the circle. And 74 is in English just tied to Jesus and Lucifer, which both sum to 74, the angel and the demon as one. And a 12th of August, her birthday, sums to 74. Casey and the Sunshine Band, which is the song that's singing in the background of the commercial, was sung by Casey and the Sunshine Band, called I Get Lifted. Rise out of the ashes, like I get lifted up high, like rising up out of the ashes. Demonic possession, which appears to be going on here in this image. Dark side of the moon, the dark twin of the moon, the opposite twin. Federal government, we see 74 highly attached to government and authority, this number here. The Holy Roman Empire is also 74, and the devil in the details is also 74. And I found some of Kara's tattoos here on bodyartguru.com, and these are Cara Delevingne tattoos. I saw one here on her left hand here. We see the snake going up her middle finger, and we see the same here. We see the opposite side of her hand here, the snake and the tail on this image. And interestingly enough, we see the forward and backward representation here with the eyes on the back of her head that we saw in the Marina Abramovich artwork. And not only that, she's giving us the one eye symbolism in the mirror for the mirror image that she's showing us. And this is a tattoo that she showed us. It's apparently from a movie that she was in, this other actress. But these are Kara's feet that you can see. The other person is in this direction. And on her big toe is the twin X symbolism for the eyes. Also the tongue sticking out, the mocking tongue, which she is also demonstrating the Rolling Stone mocking tongue in the image, giving us the finger at the same time. And we can see the lyrics for I Get Lifted, sitting here together, baby, we're all alone. And that's what it's talking about here. The forward and backward are twins. We have a mirror image, and we're never alone with that. And now I can tell you, the girl that you turn me on, I get lifted up high, like the phoenix rising up of the ashes, bringing out the love, the loving desire. And it's desire that traps us here in the system. You got the match, ooh, that lights the fire. And we are the fire, we are the light, we are the angels. So I hope you enjoyed this. I thought this commercial was pretty mind-blowing. It was originally shown through the work of Jonathan Kleck. I encourage everyone to follow him if you're interested in more. And I thank you again. My name is Chris. I am from Eyes to See. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Follow me on Truth Mafia, is where I post my blog and my decodes. And I thank you very much. All the best. Much love.